Hello and welcome to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap, Season 10, Episode 17, The Reunion, Part 1. I was actually going to do this recap as kind of like a slumber party, kind of like in pajamas, but let's do that next week because the restaurants opened up in Miami, and my husband and I went out to a fine dining restaurant that we really love that had been closed for quite a while. So we got dressed up and went out, and even though we shared a lovely bottle of wine, when I came home I realized, oh, I actually have energy, so let me do it now. But next week let's have a little slumber party. Everyone wear your best pajamas or your robes and nighties or whatever, or male and female, everyone's welcome. Let's have a slumber party recap for the reunion part 2. This one was a lot, and of course, next week, of course, I'll have a glass of wine. So join me in a glass of wine as well. Let me remember for a change to say up front here to please like, comment. I love your comments and I always answer. And you would also do me a real honor if you would subscribe to this channel. This is the Real Housewives Tea and Shade, but I will also be posting this recap on another channel, which is called Intelligent Reality Recaps. If you want to check out Intelligent Reality Recaps, it has Housewives, which you could just stay on this channel for that, but it also covers all things 90 Day Fiancé. So if you're interested in that, go check out Intelligent Reality Recaps. I actually have a third channel that is 90 Day Fiancé Let's Judge Together, and that one, as you can imagine, is just 90 Day Fiancé. So something for everyone. For now, I've got just Housewives, I've got just 90 Day, and then I've got one channel that mixes. And I'm very happy to say that I'm getting kind of fans on all three. Eventually, I'm going to have to take it down to 2, and then possibly eventually 1, but I'm enjoying having a couple different, at least 2 different channels, because I feel like the Housewives crowd and the 90 Day Fiancé crowd can be different or not, but I still feel like I want to kind of keep them separated for now. But you can subscribe to all 3 channels, or 1 or 2, or whatever you feel like. But again, you would do me a very great honor and service if you would push that red button and subscribe and hit the bell so that you can know when one of my recaps comes up. This is the last week, actually, that I will have 6 recaps a week because so much is going on. Things will be going crazy again when all things 90 Day Fiancé come back in October. For the next few weeks, I have reunions for Beverly Hills and New York, but then that will be moving away. Also, I'm happy to have the chance up front to remind you to please check out Real Housewives of Potomac. You know I wouldn't steer you wrong. You know I have very specific taste, and I love that show. I really do. The ladies are something. So check that out too. And then tell me what you think. Go down in the comments, tell me what you think. One more item of business. Please remember that if you subscribe, please go down into the comments and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, your name or your username, so that I can personally thank you in the comments and also on the recap. Okay, all that being out of the way, we now have quite a reunion. This is a lot. This was pretty hard for me, I have to say, because I was really pretty angry at a few of the ladies. In fact, I was almost borderline shouting at the computer monitor while watching the show. Okay. First of all, they do a little montage of people getting ready beforehand, setting up in their houses for the reunion. Of course, Harry Hamlin pops up behind Lisa Rinna because, you know, she's the center of his universe, and he's a wonderful husband, and their marriage is perfect. Nothing's going wrong. What would be going wrong? And he sticks his head in the camera and says, hi, apparently I don't live here anymore. And he's making reference to all the rumors that their marriage is not doing well and that he's spending a lot of time away. Well, denial, I don't know. Denial always kind of calls up more questions than it answers, in my opinion. So, whatever, but I don't know. Okay, Ericka's voice is really starting to annoy me. That kind of hard, brassy voice that she's doing, where she's always kind of sounding like, I'm tearing everybody down. I'm better than everybody, and I'm tearing everybody down. I'm the only one that sees common sense. It's starting to bother me. She's starting to bother me. And as we'll all see after this part 1 of the reunion, I'm pretty disgusted by Miss Ericka. I don't know what's going on in her life that is making her an unhappy person. Okay. And, of course, Lisa Rinna's sucking up to Andy. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, look, he's so cute. Talking about Andy Cohen. Yeah, you don't need to suck up anymore. You're already, for some reason, given incredible power in this show, and I don't understand why, because nobody likes you. Except apparently the producers and Andy Cohen. Okay, first we're going to do a fashion review. Go through the ladies. Okay. First of all, we have Dorit. She is wearing a flowing metal mesh dress. Very Bob Mackie, very 1970s, something that he would have done for Cher when she was on the Cher show. This was before most of your time, but when I was sort of, I guess, in like junior high, the Cher show was on television, and I was already obsessed with fashion and reading Vogue magazine and Harper's Bazaar, and I was just obsessed with her clothes, and they were done by the designer Bob Mackie. And Dorit's dress reminds me very much of that. And that kind of little round disc metal mesh that her dress is made out of, I have a purse that matches it perfectly. Hold on, I'll show you. Since I'm coming to you from my actual closet, it's my boudoir, my little room that has turned into my dream walk-in closet. Hold on. Can you believe this? Sorry, I'm trying to keep it out of the light so I don't blind you. But look at this. Do you see the little metal mesh work on it? It's exactly like Dorit's dress. And let me tell you something. This is a designer evening handbag of my mother's from the 1970s. It's from 1976, kind of disco era. I love it. You never have to polish it. It always stays perfect. I don't know, I think it's made out of chrome or something. But it would match perfectly with Dorit's dress if she wanted to take that out on the town, dancing, whatever. So I have to share that with you. You see my closet around me, but there's one day we'll do a little tour. I love Dorit's dress, and I love the earrings. They're perfect. I'm not totally convinced about the asymmetrical pinned up braids. I'm doing the one big braid pinned up in back. And you would laugh if you saw this braid not pinned up, because it's not quite down to the floor like Dorit's braid that she wore in one episode this season, but it is a very long braid. It's because it's meant to be attached on and kind of like curled around and wound around like the way Dorit's wearing hers. So this is my version, but I would rather do it kind of in a simpler way. Okay, but I love her baby pink lip and her soft kind of doughy eye. Very lovely, very soft, very beautiful, but at the same time very 70s glam. A little bit of Studio 54, a little bit of Cher. Love it. Slow claps for my girl Dorit. Okay, Kyle. Kyle has good makeup. The hair is flattering, but it shouldn't stick out sideways so much. if you're going to do that kind of like fall, they call it a fall, the kind of hairpiece that goes over all the way around, like a waterfall, it should be the same. It should stick out the same from the top as from the sides. And in her case, it's a little flatter on top and then it kind of sticks out on the sides, which is really not a good idea because her dress sticks out so much. So I'm not totally convinced about the hair, and the dress is hideous. I'm sorry, but those, you know, Xenon warrior from planet Klaatu, whatever, from the Klaatu Nebula. That's from Galaxy Quest. We are from the Klaatu Nebula. Let's see if any of you recognize that. Yeah, the dress is gross. The color is flattering on her, but the dress is... Okay, I feel like she's trying to morph into an evil Disney queen. At first I thought she was trying to morph into Lisa Vanderpump, but she seems to have stopped now. And I think she's going for evil Disney queen. I don't understand. At least her face looks a little bit more like Kyle and less like Lisa Vanderpump. So maybe during the quarantine she's let up on the fillers, and I don't know what she was doing, but she was really starting to look like, her lips and everything were really starting to look like LVP. It was a little creepy. But she still manages to look, I don't know, kind of creepy in that. I'm not loving the look, but I will say lovely makeup. I mean, she's a very pretty girl. Just, you know, she's pretty, she's attractive. Teddi. Sorry. God, this happens to me all the time. Where was I? Where am I? Oh, I was talking about her clothes. Oh, she is a walking Xanax. Okay, do not like the ombre pink hair. It's weird. Not that weird isn't good. I love like dyed hair, colored. I'm all about funky colored hair, but for some reason on her, I don't think it works. I don't like the ombre, like gray into pink. Very strange. And once again, she's wearing something from Giselle of Real Housewives of Potomac from her tinfoil Jiffy Pop collection. I'm not a big fan of the metallic foil dresses. Dorit is wearing metal mesh, which is expensive. Metal foil, to me, always looks cheap. Okay. So, you know, as always, Teddi's such a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. She's got good hair. She's got a great figure. And she still manages to look dumpy. I don't even know how she does it. Someone should study it. I don't even understand how it's possible, but she somehow manages to look dumpy and forgettable. And she's beautiful. Her mother was one of my favorite supermodels, and now her name is going to escape me. Was it Elaine? Estelle? Something like that. There were a bunch of them in the 90s. There wasn't Estelle. There wasn't Elaine. There were a bunch of E's who were all these beautiful girls with long blonde hair. I'm gonna say her mother was an Elaine, but anyway, she was gorgeous. She was one of my favorites. And they had three of the blondes, like the Three Graces on the cover of Vogue magazine in like 1992 or something like that. Just beautiful, beautiful women. So yeah, so I mean, she mostly got her mother's genes, and Teddi's beautiful, but just dumpy. Okay. Ericka, and I'm not saying this because of what's to come, because I used to be a huge fan of Ericka and Ericka Jane, and I feel like she's looking older and harder. I feel like she's turning into an old stripper who, you know, ends up having to work in the coffee shop because she can no longer strip, according to her voice. The voice reminds me of the coffee shop waitress who can't strip anymore and has to sling scrambled eggs and toast and hash browns. Yeah, I mean, I've said earlier in the season, she's stunning. Oh my God, in Rome, she was stunning. So it's not like she's aged that much in a few months. It's just she looks old and hard here. You know, lighting is everything. Could be lighting. Okay. Rinna's outfit comes from the Spawn of Satan collection. It is very hard for me to be balanced and fair when critiquing Rinna about anything, because I believe that she is the source of all evil. No, I'm joking. She's awful. She calls this week Joan, like Joan Crawford, because she's going to be intimidating and scary. No, you're going to end up acting like an elementary school student, and you're going to make a fool of yourself like you always do. You wish you could act and had the presence of Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, if she could come back from the dead, would slap you for even saying Joan Crawford. She would not have liked you. Okay, I wrote, Joan Crawford's chauffeur would run you over in her Rolls Royce and never look back. Oh my God, I'm such a bitch. I was really a little bit angry when I was watching this reunion, so bear with me. I just look at her and all I see is desperate fame whore, evil anorexic, allegedly. Is that what they're showing on the runway this fall? I don't like her dress. It also looks cheap. And what can I say? Can I say something nice? No. I mean, I could, but it would be lying. I'd be making something up, and I respect you too much to ever lie to you. Okay, so initially with Garcelle, I'm like, oh, that color is heaven on her skin. That color yellow is, would make me look like a 6-foot-tall school bus, but it's beautiful on her. It's gorgeous. Initially, I'm like, I don't really know about the feathers around the wrists. And I'm also thinking, I don't know if I like the blunt cropped wig and the headpiece. I know she's trying to channel Flapper, that look. And I have to say, in the course of the reunion, it does grow on me, and not just because I love Garcelle, but the whole look does grow on me, even the feathers. So now, in retrospect, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm there for Garcelle's look. Just initially, it was a little bit, And again, I'm still not totally convinced about the short cropped black wig, but you know what? If anyone can pull it off, Garcelle can. All right. Garcelle says, I can't believe I'm here. And what's awesome is, I don't know if you noticed, the way she said, I can't believe I'm here is not like, I can't believe I'm here. I'm part of the Housewives. She says it more like this, I can't believe I'm here. As in, I don't want to really be any part of this because this has turned into a giant shit show. And I'm only here because I'm contractually obligated to be, as is my good friend Denise over there. So, oh, the shade. There is a moment of shade, which they try to kind of highlight a little briefly on the show. And I'm not sure if everyone caught it, but you probably did. I don't know if you watch Shaws of Sunset. I do. It's a train wreck. I love them. I love Persian culture. So, and I've known, again, I'm from Southern California. So in Orange County in LA, I've known and went to school with a lot of Iranian, a lot of Persian people. Wouldn't say refugees because they were wealthy immigrants who came in. Some of them came before 79 when the Shah fell. Some of them came at that time. And so most of them were pretty affluent. So the Shaws of Sunset is something that I relate to very well. And I always loved on the show Asa. And Asa designs jewelry and she designs caftans. And Garcelle is throwing very deliberate shade. Do not think this is an accident. And Andy is egging her on by saying, oh, I love your jewelry. He knows what he's doing. And she says, yes, it's all by Asa. And Andy goes, Asa from Shaws of Sunset? He knows exactly what he's doing. And then she said, yes, I absolutely love her things. I adore her caftans. Well, remember, Kyle Richards had a failed caftan boutique before she launched her current soon-to-be failed enterprise, Kyle by Shahida, the dumpy line of weird pajama-looking clothes and tacky fabrics and prints. And while she says, yes, I love her, right after she says, yes, I love her caftans, the camera goes to Kyle's face, and Kyle's face is like, great. It's fabulous. Thank you, Andy. Sometimes I worry that you love Kyle too much, but you did me a huge favor there because I enjoyed that moment. Yeah, her caftan, Kyle's caftan boutique went out of business. Not that I wish anyone's business to go out because that causes people to suffer, but oh, who am I kidding? Anything that knocks Kyle down a peg. I mean, hopefully her sales girls all went to work for Asa, who's probably much nicer to work for anyway. So, all right. Denise. Oh, you know, I'm team Denise, but this dress, you don't see a lot of it because really you kind of just see a lot of hair, blonde hair and tan skin with Denise. The light in Denise's home is very unflattering. It's way worse than Ericka. Ericka has kind of harsh lighting, but oh, Denise's lighting is really unflattering. Whoever let her be televised in that light should be slapped because Denise is a beautiful girl. You know, she's not 25, so you can see the little, you know, the little signs of aging. It doesn't matter. Denise is still gorgeous, but you can see it's not flattering. Her eyes, look, the makeup around her eyes is a little bit too harsh and abrupt. It should be kind of like blended a little bit. It's like black line. And her lips are very like, you know, just pink. And then the dress is this really unfortunate, cheap looking bubblegum pink satin. And I'm sure it's probably, you know, I don't know, some halfway decent designer, but it looks like a really, really inexpensive prom dress. It looks like, honest to God, it looks like the prom dress that you would get at Goodwill. And I was curious because everyone was always saying, you know, like I have high-end designers and I also like bargain shopping. And it had been so long since I'd been into a Goodwill, and someone said there was a Goodwill here in Miami that was amazing. So I went and I was looking at, you know, the dresses and and everything. And there was the shoes, the dresses, the purses, everything was really, you know, it was a little bit sad. It was a little bit tired. But the one thing I noticed was the one section, which I didn't really need anything from, that was great, was a section where you would get like a prom dress or a bridesmaid dress or a bridal dress. Those, you know, those special occasion dresses in there, they had some beautiful things. So maybe she did get it from a Goodwill, and, you know, but anyway, no, it wasn't even good for a Goodwill. That dress is just not, no, it was a bad choice. I mean, pink is a good color for Denise, but that dress, no. Not good. And I really wanted her to be on point and amazing. I wanted her to look, but you know what? That's not really her brand. She's not Dorit. She's not Dorit. Her brand is not fashion queen, you know, style girl. Her brand is ripped jeans, old kind of retro t-shirt, you know, wavy blonde hair, like I just came back from swimming in the ocean earlier today and washed my hair and let it dry naturally, you know, which I like. I mean, she looks like a California girl. But this look is not good. Okay. We immediately jump right into not the main point of contention with this group, but a lesser point of contention, and that is the antagonism between Kyle and Garcelle, which kind of started from the beginning. And that's probably because Garcelle is a very no-nonsense person who sees through and cuts through the BS, and Kyle is basically made of BS. So I'm not surprised that they would not be best girlfriends. Garcelle said on Watch What Happens Live, I believe, with Andy, that of all the ladies, Kyle was the least welcoming. And she said that Ericka was the most welcoming. Kyle takes everything so seriously. She's so upset. And Ericka's like, oh, like she just got a gold star in elementary school. Ericka's like, well, that's just how I am. I'm just very warm and very welcoming, or words to that effect. And I'm like, no, you're not, bitch. Your heart has nails. What? No, that's not you. You and Kyle are both full of it. Denise says, you know, Kyle has a tendency to talk at you. Dorit nods agreement. Dorit is going to be doing a lot of that when Denise and Garcelle speak. Okay, yeah, we get a better look at Denise's dress now. We see it kind of down to the hips, and yeah, it fits weird. It's really weird, cheap looking satin. It might not be cheap. It might be very expensive. It doesn't matter. You can pay $10,000 for a dress, and it can look cheap. And this dress looks cheap. And again, the fit is not. It's bad. She's a great body. I mean, I know she's at home, but I guess she's really a do-it-yourself kind of gal. I think she did her own makeup, her own hair. She chose her own dress. All right, again, because she's kind of going to war here, I would have liked to see her bring her A game. But again, that's not her priority. She's going to fight with words. Okay. I love in this little section, though, that Garcelle, Dorit, and Denise are going after Kyle. That makes me very happy because Kyle is always in a group ganging up on someone else, and it's so nice to see her getting ganged up on. That does my heart good. Okay, Kyle has to throw out there, oh, and you know she's been holding on to this. She has to throw out there on national television, you know, you bid $5,000 at my charity event at my house and you never paid me. Okay, again, I do some work with different charities and been on the boards of galas and events and auctions, and when someone bids or when someone makes a pledge, you know, if you're on that board, if that's your responsibility, you have to go collect the money. And it's like anything else. It's a pledge. A pledge, though, is, you know, no, are they legally bound to do it? No, but they're honor bound to do it, and they're kind of socially bound to do it because you wouldn't want everyone to know that you backed out of a charity pledge. You would never just hold on to it and not do anything and then like 6, 7, 8 months later say, you never paid. You pledged $5,000 and you never paid. You would never, ever, ever do that. You would call her, or you would have your money person call her money person, call her assistant or whatever. But the fact that she didn't do that, and the fact that she just deliberately waited so that she could just blow this, you know, out her on national television to try and humiliate Garcelle. Oh, Garcelle was mad. She was like, "What? That can't be. I know that I know, as far as I know, that it was paid." I mean, again, she has people that do things for her. She doesn't do everything herself. She's a business manager, and she says, "No, absolutely, that is a lie." And then she said, "Kyle, watch what you're saying." And I like to see this little dark side of Garcelle because she's so sweet, but you know that dark side is there. You don't want to cross her. And Garcelle said, "You know what? I had been warned about Kyle. I had been warned." And she said that Kyle sent, you know, some very snarky tweets at Garcelle and about Garcelle. You know what, though? Honestly, this whole thing is ridiculous because Garcelle is so much more intelligent and so much classier than Kyle that it's silly for Kyle to even try to go at her. I mean, it's like putting a hamster in a ring with a pit bull. It's just not even entertaining. Not that blood sports are entertaining, but you know what I mean? It's not even interesting. No, it's like having Teresa Giudice debate Barack Obama. I mean, it's just like, no, just no one even wants to see that. It's not even interesting. It would just be sad. Okay. All right. Andy brings up with Garcelle, you know, how I know that you've been out there marching and you've been very active in the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, and so he kind of asks her about this and her experience, and she said, well, you know, the thing is, as a woman of color, this is something that's part of your life that you have to think about for yourself, and you have to think about teaching your children. You know, I have mixed race sons. Some people don't see mixed race, they just see black or white, and it, you know, which is very true. And she said, you know, she was pulled over by the police one time, and one of her sons was in the car, and she had to use that as an opportunity to demonstrate safe Black person behavior while being pulled over by the police. Does anyone else find that really depressing? That you have, I mean, I know it's reality, but this is ridiculous. I mean, you know, I get pulled over and I pull out my kind of like, oh my God, what'd I do? Did I do that? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, I sounded a little bit like Lisa Rinna there. Imagine if every time you got pulled over by the police, there was a chance, a small chance, but there was a chance that your life could be in danger, and that if you reach without saying, she said she had to say, I'm going to go to get my wallet from my purse to give you my license. You have to announce everything you're doing and move slowly. And she had to sit there. She had to answer very respectfully. She had to keep her hands on the wheel at 10 and 2. Kyle says something like, I've had discussions with my girls about it. Shut up, Kyle, you suck. No one cares. Okay. Okay. Sutton shows up. So we can do a little fashion review on Sutton briefly. I think the fact that she comes on for a good bit of the reunion and is presented like this, I think that bodes well for her for next season. She'll definitely be on, whether as a friend of or as a full-fledged housewife. Whether they will give her a diamond, I don't know, but oh my God, I would 50 times rather see her get a diamond than Brandy, but it's too late. Brandy is definitely getting a diamond, because I don't know what's wrong with Andy. He's losing it. Okay, she is wearing this, I think, kind of a matronly silver sequin thing. She says it's Pamela Roland. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Pamela Roland is elegant. Pamela Roland's designs are elegant and classy. Here's a good example for you. Someone like Meryl Streep or Annette Bening would wear Pamela Roland to the Oscars. Not that they're matronly. I mean, they can also be, you know, show a little skin or whatever, but just in general, they're very classy. It's like something a first lady would wear. They're lovely, but it's just not like, it's never going to be like on the cutting edge of fashion or, you know. Anyway, I mean, the silver is pretty on her with her blonde hair, but I think the dress is pretty boring. Just, yeah, and I think it looks matronly. Sutton's not that old. I forget how old she is, but she's not as old as, she's younger than you think she is. Let's put it that way. She's younger than you think she is. And that's never a good thing. People should always think that you are younger than you are, not older than you are. And part of it is because of the way she dresses. Oh, this is a surprise. Andy was asking about something about how single life was, and it turns out she was on Match.com. She wasn't on one of those, you know, like millionaires only exclusive matchmaking websites. She was on Match.com. I met my husband on Match.com. I went shopping. I went catalog shopping. I put in, I might have already told you this, I put in 6'2" and above. I put in Jewish. And really those were the only two deal breakers. Those had to be 6'2" and above and Jewish. Because if you see the other room back there, which is the shoe room, it's not as big as this room. It's just like a walk-in closet, but it's shoes. Girl loves heels. I will go out, I will always be out in 4-inch heels, whether they're wedges or whether they're stilettos or whatever. I'm 5'11", so that makes me 6'3". I need a man who's 6'4". My husband is 6'4". So finding a 6'4" Jew, it was a miracle from God. It was from Hashem. It was right up there with the Passover miracles. I'm joking. Okay. Anyway, so I just think that's interesting that she's on Match.com. We have a couple people, I just feel like I've already told you this story. We have a couple people in my husband's family also who got married on Match.com. So even, and maybe not so recently though, with all of them, it's been like a few years, maybe like, well, we've been together almost 16 years. And then the other people I know, maybe it was like 7 years ago. So I don't know lately, but hey, there was a time when Match.com was very good. Okay, now we cover Sutton with the whole Dorit thing where they didn't get along, and Sutton gets very emotional and says, the whole let the mouse go, that whole thing. Over her saying, when they were going into the event that was highlighting Lisa Rinna's poor daughters, Sutton thought someone was going to be there who she really had a major beef with, and so she said to Dorit, "Oh God, if who I think is in there is going to be in there, I'm going to freak out." And she said it like kind of quietly, but like, "I'm going to freak out," but not that dramatically. And she sounded perfectly calm. And Dorit announces at the table, completely overblows the whole thing, and says that Sutton said, "Why did you say you were going to freak the F out?" In front of everybody, and in front of Lisa, who becomes like, not around my girls, not around my girls. No, my girls. No one destroys Lisa Rinna's girls except Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin. Sorry. I'm so biased. But you will never, ever get a completely unvarnished, unbiased opinion from me. I will always have a very biased opinion. When it comes to celebrities, if a friend asks me for advice, I can look at things and judge. But these are celebrities. These are Bravo celebrities. I don't have to be unbiased. Okay, she says, I care about Rinna's daughters, and I didn't want to do anything to hurt them, and I wouldn't have done anything to hurt them, and I have very good manners. I would never do anything inappropriate. Okay, this is a case where Dorit did act badly at the time. I don't know what made her do that. I have no idea. It was a weird thing for her to do, to announce in front of everybody, and she heard it in such a way. Maybe she thought she was doing Lisa a favor by warning her that Sutton was going to go crazy. Although Sutton just does not seem like the kind of person under any circumstances to go crazy. No, she's like a socialite. Anyway, Dorit has to apologize during this reunion. Dorit has to apologize like 3 times. I counted 3. I think she might have apologized more than 3 times, and Sutton just won't let it go. She's like, finally, okay, just let's just, okay. And they finally kind of calm it down. But yeah, Sutton was pretty angry about that, and obviously really wanted to get that off her chest. Okay, everybody absolutely loved, in the course of the season, Sutton's gifts. Whether they were meant to suck up and get on everyone's good side, they didn't care. It worked. Her gifts were lovely. And they actually, a couple of them made the point that I don't think it was just to suck up. I think that's just the way she was raised, that you're gracious and generous. And she said, yeah, exactly. I've got that kind of Southern thing. And, yes, I love to give people gifts. It's just little gestures. It's just something that I do. I completely understand. I am a big gift giver. Like, I will find any excuse to bring gifts to people. It could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. I love putting little thoughtful gifts together and giving them to people for no particular occasion necessarily. But I love that. So I get it. Okay. Then we have to get into Sutton and Teddi. How Sutton said that basically the gist of it was Sutton ended up at that dinner table game where you're supposed to say something very honest about the person that you choose. And she basically says Teddi's a boring pregnant woman, which of course left Teddi in tears. And, there's cases where Sutton has made snide comments about Teddi's clothing, and all of these things are true. So let's just move right on, because it doesn't matter if Teddi was hurt or not. No, it's not very nice though to say to somebody, oh, just keep that. You could keep that to yourself. Now at a dinner game like that, where a dinner table game or a party game where you're being asked to say things, be very blunt about people. Yeah, you could say, I thought you were going to be boring. And she didn't say, I think you're boring now, which I would say. I'd say, Teddi, I think you're really boring. And yeah, you dress like crap. You look like crap in a sack and you're a beautiful girl. How do you do that? So yeah, but anyway. But the one thing that you can't do is you can't like give someone a hard time for being pregnant and be like, oh God, she's pregnant. She's going to be a big dead weight around our neck this season because she's pregnant. We're going to have to make special accommodations. I mean, no, don't do that. No, that's not nice. And anyway, Sutton said basically, you know what, sometimes when I'm tense, things come out, and I know that I sounded really snotty, but I was nervous. So, and I believe that. I've done that too, actually. I've done that too in a couple situations where I felt like really nervous around a new group of people, and I've said something like trying to kind of be the cool girl in school, even as an adult. I'll say something really hard and end up hurting somebody when I think I'm just trying to be cute and make everybody laugh, and it doesn't come out right. So yeah, so I understand. All right. Oh, it's funny because at this point, I don't remember what the context is, but Garcelle says, yeah, I'm already annoyed by this reunion. She's already annoyed. Okay, now we get to Denise, to the centerpiece of the gladiatorial games that are this season's reunion. Okay, she first of all starts out saying, look, you started attacking me because you thought I was being hypocritical because I asked you not to talk about really adult things in front of my children. Why is this so shocking? Just because she was in Wild Things and she did a threesome scene in that movie and showed nipple and buttock, she was also married to Charlie Sheen for those years, and she had to protect her children. I guess they were pretty small then, but she had to protect her children from everything that was being said in the media about Charlie Sheen and his women and his craziness. Do you guys even remember what those few years were like when he was just insane? There was a time when every day on the news or in the news, there would be something crazy that Charlie Sheen either said or did, and you were just like, what? No, I mean, huh? You're Martin Sheen's son. You were in Platoon. I mean, like, what happened? It turns out the whole family's a little bit nuts. Martin Sheen was a little bit crazy too, I guess. Anyway, not necessarily the nicest guy in the world. So, but I always looked up at him. I always looked up to him because Martin Sheen was always playing this really honorable person or a president or someone like that. So in my mind, Martin Sheen was like Alan Alda, someone that always plays the good guy or usually plays the good guy. Okay, okay, so I don't understand what the big surprise is that Denise might want to shield her kids from hearing everybody talk about threesomes. That's her choice. If she doesn't want them to hear it, that's her decision as a mother. And that doesn't mean that she's not allowed to, because perhaps among adults, when the children were not present, she did refer to the size of her husband's manhood or her sex life or whatever she talked about. It doesn't matter. There's adult talk and there's family barbecue talk. Why is it so shocking to Ericka and Kyle and Teddi and Rinna that she doesn't want to be the same person in front of her girlfriends or a group of adults drinking tequila as she would necessarily want to be with her children within earshot? Don't all parents do that? I mean, unless you're like Mike Pence and his wife and you're perfect Christians, and you probably, I'm not saying they're perfect Christians, but you probably are like, do nothing but like pray and read the Bible and Reader's Digest and watch Lifetime movies. I mean, Most people have things that they keep to themselves. There's an adult box and there's a family box in your life, and the two boxes don't sit next to each other open on the shelf. You keep them separated. I'm not a parent, but isn't that normal? I mean, I did raise a teenage stepson. Isn't this normal? I mean, I know my husband and I dealt with this when my stepson was living with us and he was going through all these teenage boy things. We weren't hypocrites. We were honest about some of the things that we did when we were younger, but you didn't have to know everything. It's ridiculous. Okay. Denise says she was just they were joking about going to get a steak at the strip club. And she said that when she told Lisa that, she knew that Rinna would run right back to the crowd and say, they're going to a strip club. They're going to a strip club together. They're going to have a steak at a strip club. Oh, God. Rinna just can't wait to get into it. She is over there chomping at the bit. Occasionally they're showing her little face, and she's just dying to get into it. She's dying for her close-up. She wants the cameras on her. She wants to act the fool. She wants to do everything Rinna does best. And Denise brought up another very good point. She said, you know what? I also, when they gave her a hard time for not bringing her children to Kyle's daytime party, which was meant for family, and she said she didn't want to bring her kids around that group. And everyone gave her a very hard time. This is important. Everyone gave her a very hard time for that, because they were like, what did you think we were going to do? We weren't going to speak inappropriately. It was a family thing at Kyle's house. And she was probably thinking to herself, well, you had no trouble at my kids' birthday party talking about all this crap with them within earshot. And the other thing is, she said, you know what? You guys were starting to bully me, and I didn't want my kids to see you guys bullying me. I don't want to, I don't want my children around watching you girls push my buttons and treat me like the unpopular kid, which I totally get. I wouldn't want my daughters around that either. I wouldn't want my children around that either. Okay. Ericka, I'm starting to hate your voice. Well, all I know is the whole thing is really frustrating. It just really frustrates me. What is going on? Was her voice always like that? All I'm doing, it's not just because I found out she was a stripper. I have great respect for strippers. We occasionally will enjoy a little time at a high-end gentleman's club. There's some very lovely ones here that are very clean and very nice. You can order a lovely bottle of wine. So no, I mean, I think the strippers are, they impress the heck out of me with some of their gymnastic moves on those 2-story high poles. I don't know how the hell they do what they do. And plus it's a hard job, tough job. I mean, I can't imagine. So, I'm like, all right. So no judgment, but it's like once I found out that she had been a stripper, I knew she was kind of from the wrong side of the tracks. And again, that would make me look up to her. If she were from the wrong side of the tracks and she was a girl that came from nothing, and it doesn't matter if she lucked into this marriage with this very wealthy man, I'd still be like, good for you. That's amazing. And I liked her whole Ericka Jane act and all that. And I really kind of thought, she's a cool chick. I really liked her. But I don't like this thing that she's doing now, where she is starting to act like, I feel like she's acting like she's better than. Yeah, just in general, she's acting like she's better than. And I also have a really hard time with the, look at me, I was walking by here, I was struggling. I was a struggling go-go dancer walking by here with a backpack on my back, and now I have a backpack too, but I'm on my way to Broadway. Like she did it through so many years of hard work. See, in her case, it wasn't hard work. And there's nothing wrong with lucking into money. I have had money, lost money, had money again, lost it again. I'm not kidding, folks. And then through just luck and providence, well, there was a time when I was making my own money, and that was through hard work. But then after that, through luck and providence, I was able to quit that job and just do what I want, which is volunteer and travel. because of divine providence. So be humble. Be humble. And I don't feel like she's being humble. I feel like she's now trying to act like, you know, if I made this happen, you can. It reminds me of that Gwyneth Paltrow Academy Awards speech, which is my benchmark for this kind of thing. And I feel like Ericka is now getting to this point with me. And if you get in the Gwyneth Paltrow zone with me, you're dead to me. Because Gwyneth Paltrow, I cannot stand the sight of her. But I disliked her way before it was cool to dislike Gwyneth Paltrow. I disliked her after Shakespeare in Love, when she gave that acceptance speech. And she sat up there all bony-chested and sunken-chested with that kind of anorexic looking, I'm sorry, allegedly, in that horrible pink ball gown. And everyone was so in love with her. And she's holding her Oscar and she's saying, if this can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. If it can happen to me, the little girl from Pacific Palisades who lives in a giant mansion, whose father is one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood and whose mother is an award-winning famous actress, if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. I mean, no, just don't do that. Don't do that. Say, you know, look, I've been given a lot of fortunate breaks in my life. I was fortunate to have amazing parents and, you know, to be surrounded by amazing people in this industry. But, you know, I had a lot to prove, you know, because people would think that I was being given this as a gift, you know. So I took my craft seriously and I studied acting and you know, whatever. You just can't go up there and say, if this can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. Or better yet, just accept your damn award and say, thank you so much. I'd like to thank my parents. I'd like to thank, you know, the major people that you have to thank in your team. And then just say, you know, I'm truly humbled and grateful. Thank you so much. And leave. Gwyneth. So yeah, Ericka is now in the kiddie pool with Gwyneth Paltrow. Ugh. Okay. All right, Garcelle and Dorit are continuing to stick up for Denise. Good for them. They continue all the way through. Team Dorit. Team Garcelle, Team Dorit. Now all of a sudden with all of this, you know, Denise is still continuing to say, you know, I didn't want them to be around this, and then they're jumping on her. The mean girls are jumping on her and saying, but you were the one who brought up sex first, which is true. She said something at the table kind of under her breath at that birthday barbecue at her house about how nothing was going to happen between her and Aaron because he was 6'6" and had a big something, you know, big whatever. But that was like something that she kind of said under her breath. So yes, it's true. Yes, the first person to bring up something sexual at that table was her. But go back and look at the footage. She leaned forward and said, yeah, but he's, whatever it was she said, I forget the first thing, he was 6'6" or 6'4", and he's got a big, whatever, big package. But the other ladies, when they were talking about threesomes, especially Ericka's voice, you know, in a crowded coffee shop in New Jersey, you got to be loud, or else they never give you your orders. She's loud. Ericka's loud. Like, so, you know, when they were talking about what they were talking about, the other ladies, they were like laughing and they were being really loud. So anyway, they're like saying that she has no right to say anything because she was the first one that brought it up, and that by acting shocked, she's being a hypocrite, she's being ridiculous. And then for some reason, Ericka, who I am just really starting to borderline despise, is like, this is BS. I'm effing not, or something like that. I'm like, I'm effing sick of this. Shut the F up. This is BS, whatever. She drops a few choice expletives and then gets up and goes, I gotta go put on lip gloss, and walks off camera. Like she's so offended by Denise's hypocritical behavior. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And you know, it's like this team of mean girls are going to keep going after and keep going after and keep going after. I'm not even going to go through all the details because it's like ad infinitum. It goes on forever. And then finally you have, you know, Rinna in the background going, gaslighting, gaslighting, you are a gaslighter, or whatever she's saying. Oh, excuse me. Gaslighter, gaslighter, you're gaslighting, gaslighting. So really, Rinna and Ericka look crazy here. Denise looks like, what is going on? And the other ladies, well, except for Kyle and Teddi, who I'm sure are cheering to themselves, they're like, what? This is, no. So Ericka and Rinna look nuts. Like, why are they so invested in this? Why are they acting this way? And apparently it comes out that one of the reasons why Rinna is so angry at Denise is because someone said that for the way that Rinna was bullying Denise, she should be fired. Now, that was part of a longer tweet. It was a tweet that was very supportive of Denise. And in the course of the tweet, the person said, you know, she's bullying, the way she's bullying Denise, she should be fired. Well, Denise liked the tweet, but the tweet was more than just the sentence, Rinna should be fired. But you see, to Rinna, who is desperate to hang on to as many jobs as possible, and who is such a bottom-feeding fame whore, that the idea of anyone making any move that might lead to your being fired from any job that keeps you in the public eye makes that person your sworn enemy. So now we're seeing even more where this is coming from. So, I mean, granted, this tweet was already after this season was in progress, but still, it and you know what? I'll say it right now. Rinna should be fired. She's horrible. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know, when you are that mean on a show that's in the public eye, and if you're really bullying someone and beating them down that much and taking so much pleasure in beating them down, regardless of what it does to them, regardless of anything, yeah, maybe you should be fired. I'm not a producer of the show, so me saying that means nothing. And I also know that Rinna adds drama to the show because she's so freaking weird and so weirdly intense. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with a person watching the show saying, Rinna should be fired. She's been vicious. She's been friends with Denise for 20 years, and she's treating her like garbage. You should fire her. Okay, by me. Yeah, she's rotten from the inside. I'll say it one more time. She's rotten from the inside. That's the kind of rot you can't fix. Okay. All right. So basically, the first episode of the reunion has made me, on balance, loathe Rinna and Ericka. It's made me dislike Kyle even more. You can't say, oh, I hate Teddi. She's not interesting enough to say, I despise, I loathe, anything like that. No one's ever going to say that about her. She's not interesting enough to invest that much emotion or energy in. So my opinion about her is the same. She's really boring. She runs with the pack. She's happy to join the mean girls and to be a mean girl. She's not going to be the leader, but she'll definitely be right out there in front with the others. And I think that she is absolutely of no use to the show. And I think that they really should let her go, because I don't see what she's adding. I don't think anyone is saying, I'm going to tune in next week to see that Teddi Mellencamp. What's that crazy Teddi Mellencamp going to be up to this week? She's a hoot. Nobody's thinking that. Okay, the whole thing, I mean, the biggest takeaway for me of the show, the symbol of the season, is Lisa during this reunion sitting there, gaslighter, 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 like a third grader. You disgusting, skanky bitch. I just, Do other recappers do this? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's me. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. This was intense. I think I'm not going to be able to do another recap tonight because that took a lot out of me. I'm going to have to edit it down. This is really long, but wow, that was a lot, wasn't it? I mean, not just my recap, but the reunion was a lot. And that's only part 1 of 3. And you know they escalate. What the hell is going to happen in part 2? What the hell is going to happen in part 3? I'll be here. You should be here with me. And you know what else you should do? You should like, you should comment. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Hey, why don't you share this with a friend who might like my snarky, bitchy delivery? Because again, remember my motto? I only attack the strong, the people who are full of themselves, the people who think they're everything. I just want you guys to know, I really appreciate you. I really do. I'm getting so many lovely comments. I'm starting to know some of you. Give me more. I love the love. I love you guys. Be very, very careful out there. This thing is not even anywhere near over. You know, it's barely even starting to come down from the highest level. So please be really careful out there. And be good, but not too good.